everybody. Cheers and welcome to Trades Lady Happy Hour. Whew, it has been a couple of weeks. SEMA has come and gone. I survived. I did not die, which is absolutely amazing. I did come home and promptly get sick. I think my body was telling me that 3 weeks with no sleep. It's telling me we've got a poor connection. Hopefully it will hold on for me. I'm going to need you guys to let me know in the comments if things are slow or stalling or being weird. But so I'm going to count on you guys to keep me in check here and whether I need to get off the Wi-Fi. I'm in an Airbnb, came home from SEMA, got sick immediately, spent a couple of days just feeling like absolute death, and then got on a plane and flew out to Florida to film Small Girls Garage. So here we are. But I have had a decent night's sleep. I am drinking some bourbon in an Airbnb glass. This feels like absolutely the wrong glass to be drinking bourbon out of, but I don't know. I kind of dig it at the same time. So today I do want to pause briefly before launching into Trades Lady Happy Hour, because today is a very special day for myself and for my family. I don't often talk about my older sister. She died when I was 20 years old, so many, many moons ago. However, today is her birthday. She would have been 49 years old. And so I just wanted to send off and have a toast and a drink to my amazing sister, would have been 49 years old today, to my incredible family, who it just amazes me every day that my parents are still together and still loving one another after 54 years, I think, that they've been married and having been through the loss of a child. That is, as any of you who have dealt with grief or know of, the loss of a child, it often splits families up. And so they amaze me every day. They're amazing human beings, and my sister was an amazing human being. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to toast to her. Very happy birthday to you, Jenny. And thank you guys for allowing me that moment. Anywho, we have a very special guest today. Every guest on Trades Lady Happy Hour is a special guest. Honestly, I'm so privileged to be able to do what I do and meet all of these incredible women. It is absolutely just such an honor to get to meet with each of these women and to hear their stories and to chat with them, even just for the brief hour that we get to chat during happy hour. And I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. So without further ado, and yes, I'm seeing some of your comments. I do want to talk to you about SEMA. I'm going to have to go live on another day, and we'll just talk about SEMA, and we'll just talk about the Iron Maven. I think maybe when I'm home, not next week, because I'm not home next week, but the week after, maybe we'll do an Ask Me Anything with the car and do a walk around, and you guys can ask questions about the car, and I can show you all the details. So let's plan that. Hold me to it, but that's going to be in a couple of weeks. For now, we're sticking with Trades Lady Happy Hour. We'll talk about the car some other time. Right now, our guest of the week is the most important topic. So Abigayle Morgan, she is a firecracker. She is young, she is ambitious, she has done a ton in her short career, and she's already doing amazing things and just really inspiring. So I'm very excited to get to meet her and hear about her journey. And I know that she likes little cars, like microcars and mini cars, and those are, my fave. So I know that we're going to get along just fine. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Abigayle, and let's see if she has joined the room. Abigayle, are you here? I see your refrigerator.
Yes. You see me?
Now
You see
I
me?
see
There we go.
you.
Hi. Nice to virtually meet you over a phone call.
You too. I'm so excited to have you on here. This is awesome.
Well, first off, I know you didn't want to talk about SEMA, but congratulations on the Iron Maven. That was incredible. I watched a lot of the Instagram feeds from some people that I knew were there that were Snapchatting me photos and whatnot. So, but congratulations to your whole team. That's
Thank
like a really big accomplishment.
It was insane. It almost killed all of us. But it
Yeah,
was
crunch
worth it.
time to SEMA.
I
Yeah, you
know,
hear that
I
all
know.
the time.
That's like the typical story, right? Like I didn't sleep for 4 weeks before SEMA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Yes, no, I know. I feel that way. Our college is preparing to get ready to possibly go to Pebble Beach, and we have this countdown on our whiteboard, and we mark off the days, and it's like, oh, those days roll pretty quickly on that last, 2-month time frame.
Oh my
So
God,
no,
it's
you
like
guys pulled it off. Yeah,
really.
everything looked great. All the photos. I read the Motor Trend story. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank
That is a huge accomplishment for you
Thank you.
guys.
I appreciate that. Although I feel like it's total like counter to what you do. You are all about restoring and holding things true to their historic beauty and perfectionism, and here we are cutting things apart and smashing things up and doing craziness to them.
I do have a flair for the custom side when
Okay,
it comes
good.
to some of my own projects. So I totally can get behind really any theory of restoration, preservation, or
Awesome.
custom. I
Awesome. I
like it
was
all.
curious if it hurt your
Yeah.
heart at all.
No, I love that kind of stuff. I grew up watching you on TV. So any of the crazy custom builds, I mean that's the thing. It's there's different silos of the car world, and I'm happy to try and peek behind each one and
Yeah.
kind of jump between all the categories.
Yeah, I love it. So let's tell everybody really quickly your name, where you're from, and what you do. I know we just like jumped right into chatting, and I'm totally cool with that. But let's catch everybody up at home. Tell everybody, the fine folks at home, your name, what you do, where you're from, and then we'll go back in time and talk about how you got there.
Yeah, so I'm Abigayle Morgan. I am 25 right now. I'm going to be turning 26
Hey.
soon. But I grew up in the Chicagoland area. My mom and dad were both in the car world, and that definitely influenced me. Through high school, I always knew, oh, I'm going to do something with cars, but I didn't know what that was. So I discovered McPherson College, which is here in central Kansas. I attended McPherson College for the 4 years. And then at the end of my senior year, I was offered a position to stay at the college in the restoration department that I studied in. So of course I took that job. And I've been working at McPherson College for 3 years. So I have been living in central Kansas for 7 years now. So I
How's that been?
consider, I love it here.
Yeah. I
I
mean, that's
do.
a
I
big
love
switch from
Kansas.
Chicago.
Yeah, a little bit. I did grow up in the suburbs, and went into the city, on the weekends to get pizza. But I like the beauty out here. A lot of people think, oh, Kansas is a drive-through state, but I always stick up for this area. It is quite beautiful with the rolling hills and wide open space. So uh, I like microcars. You touched on that in the intro. That's kind of my specialty is oddball cars, but specifically Crosleys. And during my time when I was a student, I interned for a couple really great organizations and museums. So I'm
Okay, so
really lucky with,
that,
yeah.
that was a whole lot. So we just got like
Sorry.
everything in a nutshell, and so now we're gonna
Yes,
go
that
back.
was like Abby 101.
I know, right? So now we get to like go back and dissect that a little bit. So your current
Sure.
position now, though, is what?
So I'm the assistant director for the program. So I'm the assistant director of restoration at McPherson College.
25
Which
years old and
yes,
assistant director of McPherson College restoration program.
yeah.
Um,
I started out as an events coordinator because that's where my passions were with communications, and then a pandemic happened, and my boss was like, "Well, you really can't be an events coordinator in a pandemic." So we reevaluated my job load, and we came back to this position currently, and I love it there. I'm really happy.
amazing. So the pandemic came and you got a youth promotion.
Yeah, kind of.
That's
But I don't, that's the thing. I don't do, and that's why I was really excited to talk to you today because you tend to highlight women that are in the trade hands-on all the time, they're 9 to 5. And I think my 9 to 5 is in the office. But then my 5 to 9 is in the shop doing, what I want to do with my own projects. So I'm kind of the reverse of some of your past guests, which I think is fun.
No, it definitely is. And I like highlighting that there's different ways that one can be in this industry. And there's so many different jobs, so many different roles and ways that you can either be hands-on or not be hands-on, or find ways to be hands-on even if your job isn't hands-on. And, you went to school for this. Did you originally plan on being hands-on and then got drawn into the other side of things, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. I came to school under like a management degree,
Okay.
and I took one management class and switched my major because I realized it's just not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
My mother jokes all the time that I was so adamant that I wanted to own my own shop when I was in high school because that's all I saw. I didn't see the other opportunities there.
Sure.
And then when I got to college, kind of realize, oh, there's more out there. I can do museums, collections management, auctions, and so I did my internships in different areas to try and pick what I enjoyed, and around junior year realized communication and marketing media was kind of more my focus. So I kind of geared my internships more towards that and then landed out where I am now, I guess. So
Okay.
I took like 12 to 15 hands-on automotive courses during my studies, and so I can do all the hands-on stuff. And I still have all of my auto books in the back corner here that I'll go and reference once in a while. But yeah, my education and career path were kind of windy there for a while.
Yeah. No, I love that though. I think, so often, and sometimes some of the guests that I have on here can be kind of misleading, I guess, or, I don't know, it sets up kind of a false narrative, I think, sometimes for other young people who think like, oh, I'm 19 and I need to know exactly what my path is going to be so that by the time I'm 25, I'm doing all of these crazy, amazing things. And it's like, no. You don't even know what the opportunities are until you get out there. And it's just, so I appreciate that you did take a little bit of a winding path and tried on some different shoes and checked some different things out. So.
And I'd say the pushes in those different directions came from a lot of strong women in my life. My mother is a big influence, and my boss, Amanda, she's a huge influence on my time when I was a student and currently. Diane Fitzgerald, who used to be on the RPM Foundation. A lot of those women were in my early career at school and really helped guide me and pushed me out to different avenues. So I loved that you're very focused on getting women involved in the program and getting women involved in just cars in general. I think that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you wind up at McPherson?
My cousin told me about it when I was like 15 or 16 looking at colleges. I went to a very strict college preparatory high school.
Okay.
And when I approached my guidance counselor, he was not very receptive to the idea that I wanted to go work on cars. He was like, why don't you be a nurse?
Ooh.
Or like something else. And so I felt I did not have auto courses in high school, and I didn't really have that exposure outside of just my parents.
Right.
So my cousin had learned about McPherson. There was a graduate that he had worked with in the past, and she was the one who said, oh, you need to get her out here and whatnot. And so it was just kind of by word of mouth.
Interesting. So I'm curious, your guidance counselor, was it a you're smart, you can do better kind of conversation, or was it you're a woman, you should do something more feminine?
More the latter. It was a pretty conservative idea of, oh, you're not, that's a little dangerous that's, for men to go do that. Don't be an auto mechanic. He's like, well, why don't you try engineering? And I was like, I don't want to be an engineer. I want to work on the stuff. And so, yeah, I think it came from just a lack of knowledge of what was out there. And so I kind of came back home and was like, well, you know what? I am going to go and do cars.
Nice.
And I looked at other programs. I looked at some technical colleges, but I was very set on the liberal arts. I wanted to get a entire 4-year college experience. And so that's how I ended up in Kansas.
That's awesome. And McPherson's kind of unique in that, isn't it? Like there's obviously lots of 2-year programs, lots of really great programs out there, and there's a ton of like community colleges that offer automotive programs. But I feel like McPherson's one of like the few that is really this like very focused automotive 4-year programs with all of these different ways in which you can get an automotive degree at McPherson.
And that's exactly right. We're basically the only ones that have that 4-year accredited program stamp that we have our students go through technical courses. And I mean, I took English and math and science and all the other gen eds that you normally take in college. And sometimes they're not what you want to be doing. You sit there at night and you're like, why am I taking biology? But looking back on it, and especially being a staff member now, I tell students, those were very informative, maybe not for the content, but I learned how to present. I learned how to work in a group. I learned all these other skills.
Yes.
It might have been in a class I didn't want to take, but it's so valuable to learn those things. And so, yeah, it was
so great. That's such a wonderful perspective. It's so good to hear that, because I agree. It's like I went to a 4-year college before I went to technical school, and it was, I'm not using my degree. I mean, I guess I am now in some weird sort of way, but it was still this idea that like that 4-year college, that liberal arts education, I learned how to learn.
Yes.
Right. There's like a lot that I learned in that wasn't necessarily like the specific class I was taking. But then there's also this thing, and I feel like McPherson has it right in so many ways. And you're obviously a shining example of the success of that model, is like, we do our kids such a huge failure in our society by putting them in either 4-year college or trade school, because the kids in trade school are not getting what you're getting in a 4-year college, and the 4-year college kids are not getting what you get in a trade school. And everybody's missing out on a big chunk of, I think, what makes a well-rounded human being. So it's a real disservice our country does to our youth, I feel like. So yay for McPherson. And they did not pay me to say this. I just really
I remember watching this it was more of a video or podcast, but I grew up watching like Dirty Jobs and Mike Rose and stuff. And I remember he did this video a couple years ago on like a TED Talk, and it was the war on work, basically, in a nutshell, that we don't value those hard labor trades jobs. And so when you're little and you see coloring books that have garbage men and welders, that's great, and you want to be those things. But then when you get into that 12 to 18 range, it's like, no, you don't want to be those things. And there's like a disconnect, because when I was little, it's like, yeah, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a trash collector. And it's like, I want to be a part of helping that age range learn that those jobs are more valuable out there, because it's like we need those people, and we need to make all of these trades feel valued.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you say it again for the people in the back?
I mean, I do. I really feel that so strongly, because I have the opportunity to go and recruit in high schools. I'm not the full recruiter for the program, but I've been able to travel with our recruiter. But just side note, a lot of women are in the restoration program world. I mean, my direct boss is a woman, and our guidance admissions counselor is a woman. And so it's kind of fun to go to high schools, and, maybe there's a young woman sitting there going, oh, I could do that, because I see it. And so, but I went to this high school a few months ago, and there was 2 women, they're 17, 18 years old, about ready to go to college. And they were like, I didn't even know you can do cars for a living. She's like, the concept wasn't there for them, because they had not seen it beyond maybe working at Jiffy Lube or something like that, which is great. But you know, maybe they wanted to do more. And so I think it's just exposure as much as we can.
Yes. Amen. 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 It is. I didn't know when I was in high school, right? Like nobody came around to my high school. And you're right. Like when you're little, it's like, oh, these trades related careers are touted. But then when we get older, it's like, oh no, you want to go to college, the 4-year
Right.
path. That's the only path to success. And there's this divide between the blue collar and the white collar, and it's an artificial divide that needs to go away 100%. um, but people don't know, and women particularly, like we're not exposed to the multitude of career paths that are available for
Mm.
women within the automotive industry. I had no clue when I was in high school. That's why I went to college, to become a lawyer. Like I didn't know I could play with cars.
Really?
I did. I did. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
wow. That'd be kind of fun.
I don't know.
Huh.
Every mechanic I know says you had an opportunity to be a lawyer and you didn't take it. And then every
Huh.
lawyer I know says you made the right choice.
Yeah. That's funny. I think when I was little, I wanted to be a national park ranger. I looked back in like 7th and 8th grade at what you put in your yearbook. I think that's what I wrote, is like, I want to be a park ranger, which I still do. I think that's my calling once I retire,
That's
is to work at a national
I
park.
wanted to be the first short female Jewish president.
That's very specific.
I do not want to be president now, for the record. I do not want that.
Go give me president.
Oof. Yeah, no, I would not want that job in a million years. But
Not today. Not in today's climate. No.
No, not at all. But anyway, we've digressed. I'm having so much fun talking to you. Okay, so I need to know about these internships, because you had the opportunity to dive into some pretty like amazing and intense scenes, right?
Yes.
Especially with there's restoration, and then there's Pebble Beach, and there's concours, and there's, I mean, you went deep fast.
Yeah. And that's pretty normal for me. I don't really do anything. I guess, yeah, a lot of my friends and family are like, that's just Abigayle. That's normal for her.
I love it.
And so I have to always take a step back and realize that's not everyone else's trajectory. And, you know, people are like, you did what? So if I'm from Chicago and then being in Kansas, when I was a sophomore, I was like, I wonder what the West Coast is like. And I was really struggling to find an internship that I wanted to go to. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Some job interviews fell through, and I was feeling very down, like, oh, nothing's going to work out this summer. And so I reached out to Diane Fitzgerald, a contact that I had from the RPM Foundation, and she, back in 2017, hooked me up with LeMay, America's Car Museum, and I loved it. And so I spent 3.5 months in the summer working as their collections intern. So the museum has about 300 cars, and I just did daily maintenance, polished the collection, helped move cars around, worked on some more long-term projects they had, and worked with all the volunteer groups. So it was a really good summer. And then I was invited at the end of that summer to attend Pebble Beach Concours with the college. And so I road tripped down from Tacoma, Washington to Monterey. And then I attended my first Pebble Beach in 2017. And I fell in love with it. I love that scene. I love that world. And so when I was looking at internships for my junior year, I knew that I had more courses under my belt, and I was kind of ready to go for something even bigger. And I applied to work at the Pebble Beach Concours office as one of their interns, and I did, which is crazy to say. I didn't really tell anyone I was doing that. It was very, because I thought, oh, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to like put it out there that it's happening, because I didn't want to be like, oh, it didn't happen.
That.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I told some of my colleagues at work, I told some of my friends, but really I kind of waited until I knew I got the job. And so I was very lucky. The college worked with me going into my senior year. They let me take off the first 4 weeks of school. So I was able to intern with them for 4.5 months. and I worked through the Concours in August. So that was a pretty
That's
cool internship too.
amazing. I have never been to the Concours at
It's
all.
it's different. It's not for everybody. I say that because I've been to some other events that I like for different reasons. But if you never, I mean, you have to go once. I've told people that all the time. You have to go once because
Absolutely.
you just get to act fancy for the day and wear a fun ball gown. And yeah, no, I love it out there. I love the beauty of those types of cars. I'm drawn to kind of the 30s and 40s classic huge Rolls Royces and Duesenbergs and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I kind of found a home there, I guess. I love that scene. So, but yeah, those were some really phenomenal internships that I was able to accomplish.
I love that. And I want to like, there was a point that you made that kind of may have gotten missed by the listeners. And I want to highlight it for a hot second because what you said was you were kind of running into dead ends with
Hmm.
jobs. Some offers fell through, some opportunities fell through, and you were feeling frustrated. And
Yes.
so, and what you did was you reached out to your network. And I cannot like emphasize enough to everybody watching, especially young people out there and old people too. Well, old people, older, more seasoned, more veteran, whatever. Um, more established. We'll go with that. You know, when you are down, when you're feeling stuck, like we have a network. We always have a network. We don't remember
Yep.
we have a network when we're feeling stuck and when we're feeling down, but they're there. And how simple it was. Like you made a phone call and then
Mhm.
boom, look at the trajectory that sent your life on and where that put you now, like just that chain reaction.
And I have had pushback in my life that, oh, you're so lucky. You know, you've gotten everything handed to you, or everything just falls in place for you. And I really struggled with that because I don't think on a surface level you see all of those back end connections, that all those midnights crying going I can't get a job, and then you reach out and do all those, you know, in the weeds stuff. And so I've struggled with that, of people going, oh, that's just, it looks so easy for you, you
Yeah.
have such a, it's just been handed to you. It's like, no.
Yeah, no, I
And
hear you. I struggle with that as well. I consider myself lucky in the
yeah,
things that I have no control over, right? I am lucky
right,
that I was born to incredible parents. I was
yeah,
lucky that I have, you know, I grew up in a community that was supportive of me and that my family
mhm.
loved me and cared about me and, you know, gave me opportunity. That was luck, right? And then
No, I totally agree,
right. But
yes,
then from that point on, like we make our luck. And yeah,
yeah,
you had some incredible opportunities, but you sought those out. You took action to make those
hmm,
happen. And then you know, somebody opened a door and you walked through it. And then what you
yes,
do
yeah,
once you walk through the door, that's all you, right?
yeah. I think there's a famous golfer, and I don't remember who it is, but I think it's basically quoted as saying, like, you know, the harder I work, the luckier I am.
Mm,
It, you know, it just seems like it's correlated, and I believe that, because
absolutely.
yeah, there are definitely some lucky opportunities, but you can always network them back to
Something.
something you did a year ago with someone. And yeah, no, I totally agree. I also was really lucky to have a great family. My parents are like my biggest cheerleaders, and
Awesome.
yeah, no, it's been, yeah, I'm very lucky for that.
Is there anybody in your life who was like surprised that you went the automotive path, or was this like just a
No.
no-brainer in your life growing?
Um, no, I think everyone I've talked to that knew me when I was little was like, yep, this seems on par of what we thought would happen,
I love it.
especially with the Crosley tie-in with those cars.
Yes.
That's been a pretty natural
Okay,
trajectory.
that's where we have to go next. We have to talk about Crosley.
Yes.
So
So,
why Crosley?
okay, I love this question. So, I've been kind of become the like Crosley spokesperson for young women. I don't know why, but
I mean, I can tell you why.
well, no, I love these cars. I am so fortunate. My father and my grandpa, they were good friends with a gentleman who raced a Crosley in this hill climb race in Indiana. And so back in the late 90s, early 2000s, my dad and my mom were kind of the pit crew, basically, would go to this event every single year. They would take me and we would help this family friend with his car. And when I was probably 12 or so, the gentleman passed the car on to us. And so I have been around this specific yellow Crosley my entire life. There's pictures of me when I was 2 sitting in the car. I have been the passenger for all of these years at this race.
So
and yeah,
it's like
and then I now
you grew up with this car. It's like your
oh,
security.
this is, yeah, I mean, this car is like an extension of my personality, basically.
Okay.
No, and so being around that Crosley, it led my family into the Crosley Club and just microcars in general. And so we've gotten very involved in the club aspect, and we've ended up buying like 5 more Crosleys. So it's just become, we're definitely really involved in that club. It's kind of our specific hobby that we enjoy. But
I love it. They're so cute.
They're adorable. I know. And I just gave a presentation at our local car museum all about Crosleys.
Nice.
And a lot of the people that showed up to the presentation were like, "You mean the radio appliance?" And I was like, "Yes, but they also made cars." So I love sharing about them. They're so much fun. And I have one in my garage. That's my little project.
Nice.
So yeah,
Wait,
really
so
working on one too.
You have the yellow one and you have another one.
Yeah, so we have, between my mom, dad, my brother, and my sister-in-law, we kind of have 7-ish. We all share,
You're
basically.
Hoarding. You're hoarding.
We're hoarding them, yeah.
All of it.
And I've been blessed. I have 2 wonderful nieces, and we've already willed 2 of our Crosleys to them, and the oldest is 2 years old. So she already has a Crosley ready to go. That's hers.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But it's pretty funny. We took baby photo shoots with her in front of the car when she was here and stuff. So yeah, I definitely love those cars. But I was looking through the Instagram feed of comments before the video, and a buddy of mine who also attends the Newport Hill Climb, he made a little comment, and I thought, oh, I have to tell this story for her.
Yeah, now you totally have to tell the story because I heard it was a good one.
Yeah. So I attend the Newport Antique Auto Hill Climb. It's held every October in Newport, Indiana, and the race is 1,800 feet, basically like a quarter-mile drag race up a hill, and it's a fairly steep incline. A lot of Model Ts, if they don't have enough gas in the tank, they'll stall. It's a very fun event.
Okay.
And I race my Crosley, and so when I was 18, it was my freshman year of college, and so I lied when I was in high school that I was older so that I could race an extra year. So when I was like 15 and only had a permit, I said that I was 16 and had a license.
Of course you did.
So that I could race. So I've been the driver for 10 years now, since I was 15, and now I'm 25.
I love it.
Yeah, so in 2015, I was a little too hopped up on energy, and I took off from the line, and I was doing great, and then I went to go shift, and I imploded my clutch into 1,000 pieces. I shot my clutch through the bell housing, and it basically made a large dent in the racetrack and shot a piece of, and I have all of the pieces in a bag in my garage. But I grenaded my clutch into 1,000 pieces, and I ended up crashing into a hay bale to stop because my brake lines got cut from the shrapnel. And I was fine, completely safe. No one was injured. I think everyone in the audience was like horrified because this little car shouldn't even be going that fast. And the fact that I blew up a Crosley. And so, I mean, truthfully, I was so thankful I was safe, and my you know, everyone else, there was no one in the crowd that was injured, but I won the hard luck award that year because I blew my clutch everywhere. And I mean, that was 7 years ago. I have never been able to live that down.
No, of
Every
course
single
not.
year, every year I go to that event, they're like, "Oh, there she is, the one who blew her clutch." It's like,
Yep. And that'll be until you're 80.
yeah,
Like,
and yeah, yeah. I I laugh about it now, but the first year back, I was like, "Oh, that's so bad." And no, I love it now. It's kind of like good, like little history moment. You
Right.
know, if people were there, they remember like, "Oh, that's a really interesting story." And my car is extremely vibrant yellow in color. It's
Hard
like
to
John Deere yellow on steroids, and so it's really hard to
Yeah,
miss
young
driving.
chick driving a vibrant yellow Crosleys,
Yeah,
blowing
yeah.
it up dramatically. You really do things big, don't
Yeah,
you?
so that was yeah. So I blew my clutch, and I had my little moment back in 2015, and I came back and I won. I think 3 years first place, and I beat the hill record for 3 years in a row. And then I've had a sprinkling of second and first place the last 3 or 4 years.
That,
So I came back with a vengeance
there you
after
go.
I did that.
And you learned how to fix it, I'm assuming, as well.
Yeah, yeah. We brought the transmission and everything back here to college, and I had the car here for a year and fixed it all up because it was in pieces. Oh, it was so bad.
You destroyed it, but good. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So that was on request from a fellow driver at the hill climb.
I love it. I love it. And you will never live it
No.
down. So you talked about how fast they can go. How fast can your car go? How many horsepower?
So yeah, it's 44 cubic inch, which is hilarious. And tiny little baby, and they're 26 and a half horsepower, and the half matters.
Yeah, when you only have 26, half is huge.
And so they are very economical cars. I mean, they'll get like 40 miles to the gallon easily. I would say safely tootling around town between 35 and 50 miles an hour, you're fine. Anything above 45 to 50, you're getting a little squirrely in those cars. But I will stand up for them. Crosley back in the 50s, they were very successful race cars for their small car class. And so there are a lot of people that will race them just
Not against
on a different
fast
level.
cars.
Yeah, so back in the day, they were probably better because they were newer, but.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. You're very economical for a golf cart.
It is. They are.
That's fantastic. Do you daily drive it?
I do not.
Okay.
I have a second gen Dodge that I drive around, and I just put an order in for one of those new Maverick trucks. So fingers crossed that shows up at some point.
That's
But here in I'm in truck country. Everyone in Kansas
Right.
drives a pickup truck, so I had to ditch my Honda Accord for a pickup truck at some point.
Yeah, and you'd probably get run over in a Crowley.
Yes.
Gotta love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have to ask. We're switching gears here because I have so many questions. So you're working back at the school that you graduated from. Did you go straight into working there, or was there a gap in between? You went straight into it.
Yeah, so during your senior year, you work on a capstone project.
Okay.
And so my capstone project was to develop a scholarship to support women in the program.
Oh.
And it's called the Denise McCluggage Scholarship in honor of Denise McCluggage, who was a famous race car driver and author. And so I was working on that project. I created that scholarship. I got very close to the my boss Amanda during that time, and so it was kind of a natural progression. My senior year, they were needing more help in the program, and so I just kind of flowed right into that job. And I maybe had a 2-week hiatus between graduation
Wow.
and then day one of work. So yeah, no, it just kind of it was a little weird at the beginning because
Yeah.
I just graduated and I was and I was like, a senior to all of these other students, and now I'm like a staff member. So the transition the first year was a little difficult, but now I mean, none of the students ever knew me as a student, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. Interesting. First of all, congratulations. What an incredible capstone project to have and
Yeah, thank you.
create. So that is a current scholarship that exists.
Yeah, so that scholarship supports women at McPherson College, but we've made sure that it's kind of geared towards incoming women. So we really want to, encourage high schoolers to get into, this program. And so I've now been able to give that Denise McCluggage scholarship out for a few years now.
That is, God, that has to be so like gratifying.
It is. I actually know the woman that we gave the first award to. She was a alum friend of mine, and we went to school together. And I got to present the award to her at the Amelia Island Concours in 2019.
Oh, man.
And she didn't know it. And so we went on this trip together, and she just thought she was on the trip as she should. She was awarded to go on that trip through the college. And then like during this gala event, I got to surprise her on stage that she was the recipient of this scholarship. So that was very special for me because she's a great lady. So yeah, I've kind of gotten over the transition period now, but there is still some times where I look around and I'm like, I work here. Like, I just, it's still on the same campus and whatnot, but I get to travel a lot. I get to lead a lot of our student experience trips. So I'm really fortunate to pass on what I got to do and take now current students to fun activities out in the world. That's pretty fun. Yeah.
And, I was going to ask initially whether you feel like you wish or would have liked to have had more like outside of the school experience before coming back to the school. But from what it sounds like in hearing you talk is like you're still getting all of that outside of the school experience.
Yeah.
Through your job, you're experiencing all of these other things.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about like, oh, should I have, taken some time to go be in the other, the world and then come back but exactly what you said, I've been able to go out and experience so many different events and attend different things that I feel like I'm still getting a sprinkling of what else is out there. But yeah, no, I've thought about it, but it's just, there was a pandemic.
That definitely does things. Do you feel like, I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble if you're here, but like, do you feel like this is your forever home?
I don't know. We talk about it pretty openly, but yeah, I don't know. We at the college have announced a lot of really big things the past few weeks, and so I mean, I want to be on the winning team, and McPherson's currently winning right now in whatever they're trying to do. So even if I move on, I'm still going to be an extremely proud alum and can stay connected. But yeah, no, I don't know. Kind of just here along for the ride and whatever stepping stones go.
Hypothetically speaking, there's some dream job. Like if there was a job that were to show up and knock at your door and say, like, we want you to come work for us, we want you to be a part of this program or whatever it is there like that thing that would make you drop everything and go do it because you're like, this is a dream?
I don't know. That is a big question.
I'm a brat like that. I'm sorry. I like spring.
No, that is a big question. Yes, there are probably those things. I don't know what they are yet, but I bet I will have that feeling of, oh, that seems like that's where you need to go next. So I bet that would happen at some point.
Okay.
But I don't know what it is now.
Okay.
So, but yes, no, I do. There are probably a few scenarios I could see popping up that would work.
Any that you want to share?
Definitely being in the Concours world, I love event planning. And so if there was ever an opportunity with you just continuing with the Concours circuit or anything fabulous in Europe, maybe, I don't know. I've never explored beyond what's here, and my my brother and my sister-in-law are very big world travelers, and so I'm very envious of what they've been able to experience outside of the country. And so if something ever popped up, not in America, maybe I would do it. I don't know,
Okay.
but maybe.
All right. And not to steal you away from McPherson, but like, all right, go gadget, like community. Um, Anybody out there have any amazing out of the country opportunities
Yeah,
for this?
sure. I'm happy to entertain whatever.
Because your energy and your passion and you're just so well spoken and put together. I'm so impressed with this younger generation of women. I've said it a million times, but you're so impressive. The comments have been saying that as well. Everybody agrees. It's just so cool to be able to sit across from a 25-year-old. Holy crap, you're a baby. And so well spoken, so eloquent, so passionate, so driven, and this is the future, man, and I love it. It's so exciting. The industry is in good hands with women like you. So
Thank you. Well, you've been a good steward so far of the, transition here. Seriously, I look around at everyone that kind of influenced me to get to this point, and I'm very thankful for where I've been able to go. And yeah, I'm 25, so I have to also say, like, okay, you still have a good 2/3 of your life left to go and live, and I don't know what that looks like yet, but I'm excited.
it's exciting. I absolutely love it. So what does your daily life look like as the assistant director of the restoration program at McPherson College, Miss Fancy Pants?
So luckily I don't teach. I leave that to our highly trained professors. So I kind of help handle all of the day-to-day operations that is not in the classroom. So guest speakers on campus or travel itineraries for when we take students places, our scholarship process and grant writing and a lot of the like business paperwork stuff. And then my favorite part is I help with a career fair event that we host. So I'm kind of the interface with another colleague on our career fair event. So talking with employers, what is the needs in the industry, trying to hook up and play matchmaker for students to employers.
Right.
That's a really big part of my job too. But yeah, and that's just the 9 to 5 part. My other fun stuff I do, I guess I work out pretty regularly. I like to do CrossFit, and I love to do obstacle course racing. And that might sound like, whoa, I'm not athletic normally, so I was not an athletic kid at all. I did sports, but I did not do well. And so I was very stagnant when I was in high school and college. I felt very, not really great when I came out of college. And about 2 years ago, I was sitting on my couch and I was like, I just need to do something like physically that makes me feel really badass. And so I found a CrossFit gym in town and I started doing that, and that has just like changed my life completely.
I love it.
That's been a huge influence and just changed, a lot of good habits and stuff. But have a cat. She's sitting curled up right here because she needs to be near me. Yeah, so that's always fun too, to have a little cat around.
Oh yes, I miss my kitties. I've not been around them very much at all because I've been in the shop so much, and now
Yeah, it seems like you've been like from SEMA, and I assume now you're filming or
Yep.
whatnot for, yep, yeah, I saw that earlier. So you must be wanting to go back home at some point.
I am, and I don't get to anytime soon, but that's okay. I'm here this week, and then I fly to Washington, D.C. for something really cool that I will be announcing probably tomorrow or the next day, but very
Cool.
exciting opportunity, so stay tuned for that. But
Yay.
I was going to ask you something, and then you got me distracted with talking about kitties. So you said that your 5 to 9 then is more hands-on. So do you have projects that you're currently working on?
Yeah, so I'm really fortunate that the rental that I'm in right now has a 30 by 30-foot garage.
Ooh.
And I live in the loft above it. So I'm basically living like the car bachelor's dream of just living above my garage space. And so I have a Crosley project downstairs, right? I say downstairs in my garage right now. It's a 1946 sedan Crosley. And I also am really big into just furniture repair and crafting and antiquing. And so that's also kind of fills in those gaps for just tinkering and just doing some smaller bench projects.
Very cool. What are you doing to the Crosley that you've got down there?
It needs a new clutch and
What
it
is it with the
needs,
clutches?
I know, I didn't do anything to this clutch. It just came to me that way. But it needs some mechanical work, and then the interior needs some help. It is currently blue shag carpet on everything. The roof is blue shag, the seats are blue shag, and the carpet is carpet blue shag. So it is an intense, I call her Mr. Blueberry is the name. And so I'm gonna go and redo the trim and upholstery hopefully this winter because it needs to get done.
That's amazing. Are you going to restore it to like true historic, or are you going to have some fun with it?
The main purpose is going to be daily driver. I don't care what it looks like beyond the carpeting needs to get fixed. But I live 2 miles away from the college campus. And so I just want to be able to tootle around town in this little car. So that's the goal. It's just to get it running.
I was going to say, you're going to daily drive a car that only goes 50 miles an hour tops in truck country. But if it's only 2 miles, that's fair.
And I do live in a very small town. So, and everything is 25 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. So yeah, small town, Kansas living, I can daily drive a Crossley pretty safely.
I love it. That's fantastic. Is Wi-Fi are you able to like show us? Is it, because you're like right downstairs? Is it that easy?
Yes. I don't know if my Wi-Fi will reach to the garage.
And we won't
have it down
we
there.
won't push it.
But I will happily send you a photo. And I'll post a photo on my page too.
And
you can go and look at it on my page.
Perfect. So everybody who is watching, if you want to check out her Crosleys, she has some on her page already, but she is going to post a picture tonight. Comment where of the one that she is working on right now in her like super cool dream home living on top of a garage.
Cool.
You've got it going on, girl.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not without trial and tribulations, but no, I'm doing pretty good now.
Okay, so let's talk about that in the little bit of time that we have left, because I feel like we could talk for a long time. But we've talked about all the good, all of these amazing, opportunities that you've created for yourself and you've taken advantage of and made things out of and made a great career out of yourself. Great career for yourself out of. Challenges. What do you think your biggest challenge has been?
That's like a job interview. I know, that's like a job interview question where you're right? What's your biggest challenge? No, I've struggled with just having having an appropriate amount of confidence, because when you start to have people doubting you and constantly telling you you're not where you deserve to be, you start to get, defensive and you get a little boasty. And so I ran into that a lot. And I admit, maybe 10 years ago, I was pretty out there, like, I can do whatever. I'm going to, say that I can't do it. Well, I will. And so I've learned the past, hopefully 5 years or so, that that's not the greatest tactic when people are doubters. So I think I've grown up a little bit and learned, like, that's maybe not the healthiest, but I have struggled a lot with just a lot of negative, I say boys because I don't want to say men because they act like boys, but I've had definitely some boys in my life, just have jealousy and say really negative things because I think they just don't know how to be supportive of their own path and my path at the same time. They don't see that you can just have support at the same time and not cut someone down. So I've tried to learn that I don't need to come back at that. I can just live my life and be happy and not have to defend myself. And so that's definitely been
Can you say
a learning
all of
curve.
that Again, that was so on point. Yes.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, I will say, you interviewed a alum friend of mine, Bella, and she also echoed that same thing. The learning environment and the faculty and staff at the college are just 100% the most supportive people I've ever been around. They're my colleagues now. I love them. So they were never the problem. My professors were like, go girl, you can do this.
Yeah.
It was just some of that healthy competition with some of my classmates turned a little not very healthy anymore. And, that's life. I got stronger from it. But it definitely sucks when, you're like, you feel maybe, I think I was 4 or 5 women out of 125 in the program. I mean, we're like 5%.
Right.
And that wears on you after
Yeah.
3-4 years of it.
Yeah.
But I'm been learning from it.
I love it. I love that you're like 10 years ago when you were 15.
No, I know, but that's the thing. I feel like I've lived, yeah, I know. I have to tell myself, Abigail, you're only 25.
Right. No, but to be learning the lessons that you have learned at this age, like you're so far ahead of the game. And like how many grown ass adults do I know who still need to learn that lesson of like, I can be supportive of my success and your success at the same time.
Yeah.
That was such a beautifully stated, what you said is like, we can both be successful. And that's like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Yes. Yeah.
There is a limited amount of success to go
yeah,
around.
like I want everyone to get to that point because I've lived that experience. I see current students going through that where it's just, yeah, you get jealous. And it's like, no, we're all doing different life paths and we're all going to end up somewhere different. And I had Pebble Beach, and that's kind of my world. Well, your world is SEMA, and maybe someone else's world is the Riddler Award, or just all these high level things. We all can be successful in our own little avenue, and that's it. We can all just be successful and be proud of each other. We don't have to be jealous or vile or any of that. And so, if I, at all can share whatever small wisdom I've learned in 25 years, I think it's you can learn something from everybody. And you can learn great things and you can learn bad things. You can learn how to act and learn how not to act. And so that's like what I live by. You can learn something from everybody.
Phenomenal words of advice. You're incredible. We only have 2 minutes left.
Oh God.
So I know. I don't know how that happened either. This was a blast. I absolutely, it was a joy talking to you and getting to know you a little bit. You are a phenomenal young woman. As many have said in the comments, you're definitely going far in your career. I'm excited to continue to watch your journey. I hope to meet you in real life sometime. I want to take a drive to Crosley. I am, and maybe I want one day because I really love mini cars. They make me really happy. So thank you for hanging out with me for this hour. Everybody who tuned in, thank you guys all for hanging out with us. If you're ever in need of a dose of inspiration, go check out some of those past episodes and listen to some of the incredible women share their stories. So many incredible women out there just kicking butt in the trades and in the supporting careers around the trades. As tonight's guest was Abigail, you're wonderful. The industry is in good hands with women like you out there. So thank you. Quick thank you to my sponsor, Drive Time, for helping continue to make this possible, for their commitment to supporting women in the trades by supporting this happy hour, and through all of the other things that they do as well. And with that, I'm going to again say happy birthday to my sister up there, wherever she is surrounding us. And I'm going to wish you all a very good evening, fantastic rest of your week. Be good to yourselves, be good to one another. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.